Everyone would just about agree that we're in a great transition. And I want to recommend to you today a wonderful book that is actually on the cutting edge of what God seems to be doing today in our time. And that book is Ekklesia, written by Ed Silvoso. I'm so privileged to be able to call him a mentor, a friend, a spiritual father. And he wrote this book, Ekklesia, which Ekklesia is basically the Greek word that's translated into English as church. And it's one of the most important books that you could read to help you understand what seems to be happening on a large and micro level in the church today. I want to give you 5 reasons why you need to get the book Ekklesia and study it. Reason number 1 is Bill Johnson, who is one of the most extraordinary leaders in the church today, wrote about Ekklesia, this book, that Ekklesia is perhaps the most important book of this church era. That's really a powerful statement made by a giant in the church, that this particular book, Ekklesia, is one of the most important books of this church era. Reason number 2, we're moving into a new wineskin. A wineskin means the structures that God works through seems to be evolving or changing. And that's happened a number of times over church history. And we are in the middle of one of those transitions right now. And so reason number 2 is a new wineskin has been emerging in the spirit. And Ekklesia is a base for the articulation of this new wineskin. If you want to understand what is the new wineskin that's emerging, this book will help you conceptualize and understand exactly what God seems to be doing in the church today. Reason number 3 that you need to get this book, Ekklesia. Major Christian leaders throughout the world, Bill Hamon, Chuck Pierce, Cindy Jacobs, James Gall, Mike Bickle, Rick Joyner, Stacy Wesley Campbell, Matea Khaleesi, a charismatic Catholic leader, all agree that the message of Ekklesia that Ed Silvoso wrote in this book is what the Lord is saying in the church today. There's so many leaders that agree that this is one of the most powerful paradigm shifts, and this book explains this paradigm shift in such an eloquent way. Reason number 4, Ekklesia uncovers or recovers the way the church functioned in the book of Acts and provides us today with a model to duplicate. Have you ever read the book of Acts and said, I wish those same things could be happening today that happened in the book of Acts? Well, they absolutely can. And this book can give us a foundation to be able to reestablish the vibrancy, the spirit, the movement from house to house and from business to business through the way Ekklesia is articulated in this book. And reason number 5, Ekklesia explains how the early church impacted cities and nations. The early church impacted cities and nations in an extraordinary way. Let me finish reading this. Ekklesia explains how the early church impacted cities and nations in a relatively short time without having buildings, without a professional clergy, without being supported in religious freedom, and without having strong social status. Look, the early church was missing all these elements, and yet it spread through the Roman Empire like wildfire. And in order to really understand that happen, you need to get a hold of this notion of Ekklesia. 5 reasons why you need to get this book, Ekklesia. And I encourage you to get your copy today. There's a link in the description below. You can click on that link, or you can look it up for yourself. And also, particularly if you live in the New Orleans region, as you get a hold of this concept, I want you to contact me to join me as we implement this in the New Orleans region, raising up ecclesias in homes, in businesses, in schools, in government, in arts and entertainment, in all the sectors of society, and seeing the kingdom of God invade a city. Get Ekklesia today.